discuss a very interesting topic, and topic which is very close to my heart. Innovation, design and sustainable spaces for tomorrow, future. So exciting panel of architects, designers and the interior designer, architects, brand and execution and BNC. So let's start. My first goes to Reza. Reza, how do you think design can play a pivotal role in minimizing zero carbon footprint?
Switch.
Hello? Yeah. Hi. Thank you. Good afternoon. So, sorry, I was having to your questions. I'm still with
So, we know about innovation and sustainability, right? And how we can create a hospitality future combining both innovation and sustainability. How do you think design can play a pivotal role in minimizing zero carbon footprint? Because you're an architect, you can get great insight, to this topic.
So basically, I would say is firstly, when we design anything, we have to keep in mind that we are designing something for the future, for the next 50 years, for the next 100 years. Keeping that in mind, we've got to design. I would say you design something that could be, today you do it as a hotel, maybe tomorrow you want to convert it into a hospital, you want to convert it into a commercial building. So you've got to keep design in mind for the future and design in such a way that it can be converted. Today it's fine as a all we design a building, a commercial building, so many times we convert it into a hotel and it functions perfectly. So I think that's the best way to design. The other thing is orientation of the building. That's very important. And build with the surroundings. Don't just build something new because you like it from XYZ place. You just pick it up and put it on the side, and that's it. You have to design with the context. That's it.
So that's actually a good one, Reza, that designing with the context of it and making it sustainable. Right? So now coming to Bobby, like having innovation and sustainability, sometimes it's very complex to achieve. What is your approach to this, and what are the strategies which one can adopt to have a good balance of both?
I think it starts with being as Indian as possible. It starts with having a designer consultant being Indian and not a global. There are many brands that think that only they can do it. Being Indians, I think we should help our own kind. We talk about racism and all that stuff. It starts in our own backyard. There are enough great designers who work in India. It starts with that because they come with the in-house system. Indians know the materials that are kept in the backyard. They understand the weather, they understand the geography, they understand the geology, they understand the horticulture of that place. We understand the limitations that goes into making a project, getting the best out of Indian artisans. I think to be sustainable, I think the best way to do is to be everything as much as possible being locally made from your backyard. And India has grown leaps and bounds in the last 20 years in terms of quality products that is coming out from our Indian factories itself. When I started my career 30 years ago, and my first hospitality project was probably 22 years ago, there was a big dearth in quality products being available in India. We were forced to depend on foreign products and stuff. And all that really adds to the carbon footprint in a big way. Now, great quality tiles, woodwork, carpets, lighting, amazing technical lights at par with the rest of the world is available here. So as much as possible, go to really innovative, even Florida designers from Paris as well, because Accor Paris, Bangkok, Singapore. उनको plane में business class को लाके लेके आओ इधर. You know, it's adding to the modern footprint. You guys are here to that. I'm letting it work. Like it. We at a proper floor, we come back. Exactly. So we can come back. And it's not just us, it's our whole. Everyone's doing good work. And we do a lot of hand holding also. We are able to speak in Hindi and their language that they want to hear. And you know, we are there in the whole journey from beginning to end. That process is what helps in minimization and a whole lot of, resources consumption. And the other thing is that, what I have learned from Thailand, earlier used to do things which were very trendy, happening. Reema had always a short lived. In 10 years' time, you are here. Try and create a product which is so timeless. There's going to be there, as Reza mentioned, also for the next 50 years. All you want to do is do some, do a soft refurbishment, but your basic design, board, shell is also good. And not for the moment, that is the way, because it is not just for the time being that I think the world being sustainable. I think for the next 100 years, that whole hotel building is going to be there in the environment.
So, Bobby,
If actually I may add on to something that you mentioned. It's actually quite intriguing and interesting, and if we actually were to ask ourselves, why is that we would like to go to Europe perhaps? Because we get quality. That's an impression or a perception perhaps. And why would we want to go to China? I guess price. Now, what Bobby said about adopting to what, let's say, is available locally in India to kind of support these sustainability initiatives. There's a very intriguing, I would say, model which is known in the industry, which goes by the name of the Morbi model. Now, there's a small town in the state of Gujarat which has a lot of small tile manufacturers. Well, a couple of years ago, or maybe 5-8 years ago, this town would be doing a few thousand crores worth of business. And today their tagline is better than Italy, cheaper than China. And they've actually positioned themselves as premium tile manufacturing town. And you'll be surprised if you ever, and I really encourage and urge people over here, especially the hoteliers, to visit this town, and you would be amazed to see a lot of European companies positioning themselves because they want to collaborate with these manufacturers, and a lot of Chinese who want to see their equipments being used by the Morbi business people to manufacture these tiles. So I agree with you, Bobby.
Since Morbi happened, our entire thing has changed, and clients are so happy because we're able to give such high quality, Italian quality products at 1/4 the cost. So everyone's happy. It makes business sense.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. In India, we were always sustainable. Do you agree? Like what you said that, we have to be more surrounded with our location and be sensitive to the society. But if you think about India, a couple of years ago, we always used to have those newspaper bags. Right? Now the world is talking about it, right? That newspaper being sustainable, but India always had. How we lost the contact of that and then tried to modernize us and just left it, and now again going back to the sustainability. So my next one actually is for you, Vandana, because you do a lot of hospitality and a lot of interior spaces, work around that. What are the local materials? What are the things which one can adapt or consider while keeping these sustainable options in mind and creating the spaces which can contribute to sustainability?
Thanks, Reema, and hi everybody. It's a pleasure being here. So, whenever we start an interior project, one of the most important things for us is to choose materials that will have a long life cycle. Because as Bobby said, that what we typically see in hotels is besides a lot of greenfield projects that are happening, you refurbishments in hotels. And the annual cycle of refurbishment could be anywhere from 5 to 10 years. So if as interior designers we can push that life cycle ahead, we can contribute in a very large way in creating sustainability. So if you can treat your hotel or an upcoming project as a material bank, is a word that I could use, because what should happen post you renovate a project is that whatever comes out of it could either be reused by somebody else, or you could reuse it in your own project, or it should be recyclable, or usable in some other form so that you can reduce the energy footprint. So that is something that we are consciously trying to do, and in a lot of hotels, actually, when we step in, even for a full refurbishment, we try and question what is there on the floor, what can we conserve, what can we reshape. So if we can do that consciously in a project, we can save the owner a lot of money, and we can do the environment a lot of good. Besides that, I feel that less is more in today's time, and efficiency is key in creating a sustainable project. So within your public spaces, if you can create multi-functionality, you can use one space where you're spending so much and give it multi-fold meaning. You'll be able to create a lot of efficiencies, spend less, reduce the capex, and again increase sustainability. So if we can follow the 4 R's, and we can be very, very mindful of how we use every square inch of space as designers, and choose our materials in a way that they have, over their life cycle, have a net zero impact, because the life cycle means everything. It means when you're extracting the material, when you're manufacturing it, when you're transporting it, and at the end when you're using it. So at every stage there is a carbon footprint that is getting added to it. So you have to be mindful of everything, and as Bobby rightly says, use Indian designers. We've been bred here, we completely understand the geography, we understand the culture, we understand what works here in terms of climate. Who better than us? And I'm pitching to you, Reema.
I'd like to add something here. Reema, I'd like to add something here. I think using Indian designers, you're more sustainable because you reduce carbon footprints flying down into the country.
Absolutely. That's the first thing, and
That's being very generous of you, let me say.
That's the first thing. So now actually coming to from the brand, right? And for sustainability, innovation, eco-design, whatever we say, holistic approach is required, right? From architecture to design, to materiality, to execution, and also the programming of these spaces, and what are the initiatives which brand can do, right, to make things sustainable, not just for that time, but also for a long term, right? So, what is your take on that? What are the mission, as a brand, to create a sustainable product and to encourage sustainability? What is the mission?
Good afternoon. Maybe this was learning. A brand has to evolve every time. Everybody loves it.
It's not very good.
The mic is on, but just a little
So
louder.
a brand has to evolve every time. A brand cannot be for forever. It has to change, it has to reflect, it has to note what's going on the market. For example, at the moment we heard yesterday that there are more senior people traveling, there are more couples traveling. This will have impact on hotels, on hotel design, on brands. This generation who has the money, who can spend the money, they will explore the world. They will go to France, they will go to South America. They want to live and explore the other cultures, which means that guest rooms, hotels, they have to answer what the demand is from this clientele. My mother, she would go to a 5-star hotel. My daughter, she would go to a 3-star hotel because it's more happy, it's more action driven. So
both categories, both brands have to be taken care of. And let's say, the hotel brand for the youngster, but there are enough examples around when you come to the lobby. Just hear it, the lobby has a huge screen, and the youngsters, they can communicate with their friend at the other part of the world, online. They communicate through their phones and their gadgets, and they immediately get a response from their friends in LA or there. So this means the lobby has to change. The brand has to give answers to the demand of this clientele. The next thing is into body local workmanship. I was in a happy position to look after a hotel in Jaipur. Workmanship there was so excellent, you couldn't even get it in Europe, anywhere. So workmanship is here. It has to be brought up, it has to be supported, it has to be paid, of course, as well. So the local market is ready for Russians to take it. The next step will be in the hotel sector, the prefabrication, with not only on tiles, but prefabrication of entire hotel rooms. There are samples in Europe where you build a 115-room hotel in 12-15 months, completely ready. 150 rooms. Everything is prefabricated somewhere in the factory. Quality is good. It is assembled on site. I wouldn't say like IKEA, where you buy a shelf and you can dismantle, not dismantle, but put it in the air. So this will be a market for different demand, not for the 5-star segment, but certainly for a segment which needs fast, good quality hotels.
And also creating spaces for eco-conscious travel, right? By recreating it, creating spaces and hotels for eco-conscious travel. So next one actually is to Reza. You would agree that facade, right, and the orientation of a building, of a hotel building, can contribute 30 to 40%, of the overall sustainable measures. So, which means combining form and functionality together, right, and creating something which is more innovative and eco-friendly design. So how this can be like a well-integrated thing where your form and functionality needs to create an eco-friendly design.
So, good question. I mean, in a lot of cases, what happens is we do not get the land parcel that is there. The land parcel is not. You just have a one-side road and you have an east-west and you've got to do the construction because the building the location is such, and the client, that's his job. So he wants to do the best out of it. But then although we keep the building that way, but still we try, and we don't try, we achieve it. We place the windows in such a way so that we cut off the harsh sunlight. We use the glass that we use or the overhangs that we do. So by doing that, we keep on, we keep the radiation and stuff outside, so we can achieve the, sustainability angle of it. That's very important, I think.
Yeah, actually that's a good one, Reza, because 30 to 40% is your form, like your architecture. And then when you do like a glass building, not paying attention to the natural light, to air circulation and all of that, right? So then you're actually adding on to your MEP cost, which is like again going back to that, and that is also massive, 30 to 40%.
Correct, but you remember we did the Taj in Ahmedabad when we worked together, and that was an east-west facing plant. We couldn't do anything, but the kind of overhangs, the kind of the sunbreakers we did, we managed to keep the sunlight out, just get the light in, but keep the heat out, and we achieved a very good gradation of the sustainability.
Absolutely, absolutely, bringing that all together. So Bobby, to you, whenever we talk about innovation, right, and especially eco-friendly design, the cost becomes a bit higher because innovation comes at some cost, and not every time we think about like less is more when we do innovation, right? So how can one bring brilliance of cost while achieving innovation and sustainable design?
Switch. Too short.
I think in the last few projects you've seen that what you're saying is not true. That it's not necessary that being sustainable means will cost you more. Yeah, because there were times a while ago when by using those kind of materials and technology and stuff used to be expensive, but year by year the prices of all those things are falling down a lot. And so if you are able to identify who are the guys in the business who are giving stuff at the right price, and there are ways of doing it and achieving a high level of design as well. And also, I've also realized that, again, coming back to the same thing, being Indian, one of the reasons why our cost used to go earlier also haywire was because of the strong import component. I'll tell you about a simple thing like lighting. Earlier, a large of our technical lights, in order to create the right atmosphere and stuff, I was supposed to buy from Italy, from the big boys, Mukherji, Accor and all that. Then slowly through time, like a couple of Indian companies, totally Indian made. One was Delhi based, one was Bombay. One of them right here, Hyatt. It was Art Light. They were able to produce lighting effects. Lighting is not about what the light, how the light looks like. It's about what the light does to illuminate that atmosphere, create the right atmosphere without blinding and all. They're able to do that in India now at minus 80%. One example, I was buying at 10 grand, 12 grand, 15 grand, I was selling at 2 grand. So, these guys are all looking similar when it comes to fabrics, when it comes to flooring, bathroom fixtures and fittings, like they are even brand just for their bathroom fixtures. They have improved so much in their quality that they are able to do so much more now than selling to Italy itself. You guys cannot do like right now, I'm proud to be and see that earlier, we were known to, produce stuff of only that, those kind of Purana cars, Ambassador, Tata Indica days. You see Tata now, all the Mahindra quality of products are coming out with right now. Same thing is coming from the entire ecosystem of products being made in India. So we are able to stretch that same rupee or the dollar a long way using all our local brands. So we are able to achieve that.
Having the right specs also,
You have to be aware of who's making modern in different corners of India. And these guys who are doing the job right, they're not necessarily only in Bombay and Delhi. They're probably sitting in some small town in Gujarat or someone's doing something in Uttarakhand. Actually, there are a lot of right people doing amazing stuff. You need to know them, and I'm glad that there are big exhibitions now happening where all these products are being displayed, where we can go and find them before.
So it's basically getting more inward looking and looking at options in inside, in India than actually going and exploring outside and making it like really high specs?
So earlier it depended on China also. First was Europe, then China happened. We have overtaken all that. Now Chinese goods are turning out to be more expensive than Indian made products. So there itself it starts. End of the day it has to make business sense. Yes, you are doing sustainable, all that stuff, but all these sustainable ideas to go out the window the moment it came to cost. So earlier I would say the same forum, I would say that brands, owners, they care less about sustainability moment they were, but now it is automatically happening. So that's good.
You're like talking about 10, 12 years, you will also agree like a couple of projects which we have done together. We used to build the project and then think about, let's just try to get like Reza, you also right? Like, let's try to get like green certification, now going backward. But now, in today's era, we are talking about how we can do the first step right? And have more like a holistic thing. So now coming to Rohit, you bring back the back of house area, the laundry, which contributes actually, if it is there, 10% to sustainability. And back of house area, kitchen, and all the equipment. What is your understanding and how do you think these techniques actually having the right specification of the laundry equipment, whether the laundry should be part of it, and the kitchen equipment, what are the specs one should follow, and how that sustainable design can be executed in a correct manner?
That's a good question, Reema. In fact, from the contractor's point of view, if I were to say, of course, this panel has discussed about, let's say, sustainability initiatives and, let's say, a lot of options that we currently have in our own country, which are not just sustainable but cost effective, right? Fortunately, in the quote-unquote kitchen and laundry space, we still are a few miles away, if I may call that point out. And we do have to rely on not so cost-effective products. So that would be my starting point, if I may. Now, having said that, I think it's prudent for us to understand that while we would end up spending quite a bit of monies on buying some of these expensive equipment, but then we need to see what's the bargain that we're getting. Are we willing to invest in products which are, let's say, energy efficient, which, let's say, for instance, I may talk about equipment which help us save energy. So while I'm on the capex side, it might look like as a big bag cost, but from, let's say, the life of the hotel, we're talking about 50 years, 25 years, or at least 10 years before we go for some sort of kind of a major renovation. So from a hotel owner's and an operator's perspective, at the end of the year, we look across the kind of profit that we're making, and depending on the kind of investments that we've made on equipment, we will be able to save on something that we call as the energy cost. So prudent decisions around buying quality equipment would enhance the productivity and profitability in my opinion. That's the way I would.
Thank you, Rohit. That's a good one. Just a time check, we have 5 minutes. So the last one, which goes to everybody, but the last bite you would like to give, Reza, from you. How experience, like creating the spaces and experience, right from the arrival to the lobby to all the spaces, right, to the back of house area also. How that can be achieved, right, by eco-friendly design. Like how we can enhance it actually.
I would say it's sensibly. That's the best way to be sustainable, and I think that's the best way to do. If you build sensibly, you've got it. It's not that you've got to strive for something to get it, but you just build sensibly. You have all your services, everything in order, functionally. I think that's the best way to do it.
Because eco-friendly design is about what you feel, you touch, how you source, and how you experience. It's a combination of all of that. Now coming to Klaus, what is your last bit of it, which you'd like to add?
A big especially given waste, to avoid waste, to recycle any kind of material, again, on a local basis. You can reuse, you don't need to have concrete all the time. There are substitutes for concrete. You can reassemble existing wood structures. So there's a wide field of reuse of materials. And recycling is a big issue. If I remember, climate exchange, they started to avoid plastic straws. What is plastic straws in a hotel? It's 200 rupees, 400 rupees. Okay, it's a start. But today, we are far more advanced. We get rid of plastic. We look in the laundry, what kind of material is being used, is it environmentally friendly, and all these subjects are coming into the hotel world as well. So another subject, especially here for India, will be food waste. This is a very sensitive subject, but it will come.
Food waste is another thing which should be considered. So quickly, without losing much time, Bobby, to you, how we can create spaces for eco-friendly design.
I think there's lots to be learned from the Scandinavian countries, many European countries, even the US, India, Asia, which include China, Thailand, and the Middle East. There is a concept of simplicity and understated elegance. You know, those words I learned from you will be hearing, you know, that you are unnecessarily complicating designs. The thing has become a trend, you know, that the more layers of things you put in, the more colors, the more materials, that, you know, it's not luxurious enough. I love your brand Hyatt. You know, beauty and simplicity. And there is a huge discerning, sophisticated audience for that. It is our duty as designers and brands to also influence our nation and our surrounding. We don't blame them. You know, we are reinventing ourselves. You know, we've been subjugated to all these people who occupied us for hundreds of years. We were highly advanced, sophisticated, intelligent nation at one time. We learn also very quickly. So if the idea of luxury is to see like stuff like what you see in JW and stuff like that, so much stuff. Ritz-Carlton and Park Hyatt perhaps get the same ARR. But the way Park Hyatt does the same project, you know, it's so elegant. And the people who have experienced it or in that city, in that country, they slowly are adapting to realize that, you know, there's beauty in this also. There's a high level of beauty. You don't have to overdo things.
The luxury can be achieved.
Exactly, so, and with all a nice Indian materials, the way you put it together without using hundreds of things and metal screens and 10 types of light, chandeliers, you know, like this ballroom has been planned pretty intelligently, I would say. You know, there's beauty in simplicity. You know, there's minimal lighting, there's not excessive chandeliers and the whole process of making it and also maintaining all that. Right now, it's understood that you can't have a big grand ballroom without all the million crystal things hanging on your ceiling. Otherwise, you know, शादी करने लायक है नहीं.
Okay. Sorry, Bobby, time is up, but now quickly,
I'd like to talk about two materials that I'm following very closely these days. One is bamboo. It's really revolutionized how we build today. A very interesting example is the T2 airport in Bangalore. I think someone spoke about it earlier in one of the panels. It's largely built of bamboo. It's very interesting because it's a highly sustainable material. It has a great tensile strength. It can do a lot. The second material I'm closely following is mass timber, which is basically a glue laminated timber. It has the potential to replace concrete today. Concrete is highly unsustainable, and I'm waiting for someone like Reza to build the first timber hotel. yeah, and I've given an opportunity and I can do the same. Because it can go back in the environment, it can be reused. So yeah, these two materials are exciting me today. I can do that.
And over to you. Just the last thing.
From sustainability point of view, I think Kali has discussed length and breadth. And from where I come from, I really hope that all the retailers over here, the operators, the owners, I would say give emphasis to, let's say, buying the right stuff, quality stuff, energy efficient stuff, because that will not just add on to profitability, but it actually will lead to happy internal customers, which are your employees. The happy employee means a happy guest at the end of the day. That would be it from my side.
Perfect. So just to conclude, thank you, Rohit. Just to conclude, sustainability and innovation is not a choice. It's not a trend, but it's a way forward. Thank you.